Jason and Bina, I'm so happy to have you here today. Thank you for the interview. I wanted to ask you, how was the challenge to find the perfect balance between honoring the animated movie, honoring the Chinese folklore, be epic, be family friendly, be everything? Like, how was the challenge?
It was immense. When we first started the process, we wanted to add something new to the Mulán storytelling tradition. So we not only looked at the animated movie, which is beloved around the world, we went back to the original ballad from the 500s and then looked at all of the various versions that Chinese storytellers had told over the centuries, stage plays and operas and TV shows and movies. And we tried to look at all of that and see how they told it in different ways and the variations that they made on it and why this story had been so popular for the centuries. So we looked at all of that, and then we talked to a lot of the audiences around the world. We tried to add the big epic scenery, the big epic action sequences, and at the same time, Nikki Caro, our director, really wanted to focus in on her character and her journey, and so we kept talking about it as being an intimate epic. So we'd have these great intimate character scenes that would go deep into her, and then also have these great big action sequences.
How do you translate words like spirit or epic into clothes? Like, my question is, how does your brain work?
I've been asking that since we started.
So actually, when Nikki Caro approached me, the first thing that she said was she wanted to have a spirited movie, like with spirit. My intuition drove me to use a lot of colors, to use a lot of textures, and I wanted to give it a feeling like something real, that the audience thinks they can touch it. It's based on Chinese culture, and I try to respect a lot the Chinese culture. But later on, I think also it's important that it is always contemporary, because so it reaches a huge audience. The script, once I got involved, was already so spirited. And there were so many new things that inspired me, that my work was really easy. For example, the matchmaker dress, it came to me the second day of my prep time. And then we had these amazing actors that prepared so well. And also they were such a big inspiration for me.
She's being modest. When she says it was easy, I watched, she was a field general. She had an army of people building these costumes, building this armor, a huge number of people. It's not only designing it, which is incredible, it's not only building it, not only that, but then once it's all done, we're out in the middle of nowhere and she has to get everybody dressed. She has to make sure that the costumes work. She has to make sure that they can take a break when they need to take a break. And has to do that when it's freezing cold, when it's really hot, when there's no roads. So for her to say it was easy, I think is her being very modest, because she was, what she accomplished is truly astonishing.
So I have to ask about Mushu. I understand why he's not in the movie. I understand that part, but I wanted to ask you, these kind of decisions can be like really tough, because the movie can do very well and you can get a lot of complaints too. You can have a lot of inner doubts. It's something, I guess, that you talked about a lot, you thought about a lot. How was that with the whole group?
Everybody that was involved has obviously been inspired by the animated movie. For most of us, from the Western perspective, it's the first time that we were exposed to the Mulán story. And one of the things that we really wanted to do was add something to the storytelling. So the animated movie exists, the break into song exists, Mushu exists, and we can go watch it anytime we want to now, thankfully. But we wanted to tell a different story, and we wanted to go more deeply into character and more deeply into her relationships with the people around her. We also wanted to feel more of the threat of her being discovered, the threat of her fighting the northern invaders, so that we really had a sense of the stakes involved in not just her emotional journey, but also her physical journey through the space. So when we were doing that, it was a pretty easy decision for us, actually, to say, we should take a lot of that camaraderie and humor that she had with Mushu and put it into the real characters that she was dealing with around her.
So your work is amazing. I'm gonna say it every time. A lot of details from the clothes that you create and of the other things that you create get lost because of the camera movements, because we focus on all other things on the screen. What particularly would you recommend me to focus or to look for when I see the movie and the pieces?
You know, for me, I think I always know that a lot of things won't be seen at the final product, but it doesn't matter because the feeling is there. And even so, if you don't see every detail, I know these little details help the actors to get more emotional. For example, Jet Li, each time when he got dressed, he said like, "Really, Bina? So many layers?" And then once he was dressed, just looked at it. I said, "Oh my God, yes, I really look like an emperor." And that is important about the costume design. It's like help the actors to get into the right position for their character. So it doesn't matter that if we see all the embroidery that was hidden under all these layers, because somehow they are there. And I think that just enjoy the movie.
I'm curious about the songs. I know we were gonna hear the instrumental versions. I heard the Reflection song, but why did you choose that one and not other song to use it as an instrumental version?
Well, obviously music still plays a huge part in the movie. We have this amazing score by Harry Gregson Williams, and we have Christina Aguilera singing our new song, Loyal, Brave and True, which I love, and also doing her version of Reflections. We also have Yifei doing her version of Reflections at the end of the movie in Mandarin, which I think is amazing. She has a beautiful voice. So it still plays an important part in the movie. We wanted to focus the references we made in the score primarily on Yifei's journey. And so for us, Reflections was the song that really dealt with her internal journey, more so than Make a Man Out of You, which is really fun, or even Bring Honor to Us All, which we do reference in the score a little bit. I think that her journey of finding her true self, of finding her inner voice, is really embodied in the song Reflections. And so it was important for us that that be sort of the main musical theme that we call back to.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
I love
you.
the interview.
Thank you so much.